your parts from?
So where can I buy like lots and lots of Lego, but for like really, really cheap?
I am super poor. Can you just give me some of your Lego? Okay, thanks, bye.
Can you buy just like loose parts? Or...
Oh, how do you have so many pieces? Do you work for Lego?
I wish I had that many pieces.
So where do I buy parts from? Yo, welcome to Behind the Build. Let's talk a bit today about where you can buy pieces from. I'll talk a bit about where I myself buy parts from, and we'll also discuss some of the cheaper options as well as the more expensive options, and some you may have never even heard of before. Let's go! The first and probably best option is Bricklink.com. I tend to shop here the most. Bricklink is an online Lego marketplace for buying individual Lego pieces, minifigures, and sets. It has nearly 10,000 stores in over 70 countries, and has over 9 million items for sale. So there's a lot to choose from, and it basically has everything. Even some of the more obscure stuff. The main issue with Bricklink is the distance between you and the store that you're buying from, so obviously you do aim to buy things from more of the local stores so that shipping doesn't become an issue. But depending on where you are in the world, the local stores may or may not have what you need. So by all means, shop at the stores that are across the entire globe, but make sure to balance your budget for shipping. Now 9 times out of 10 Bricklink will have what you need, but of course there are other alternatives as well. If you're looking for cheaper bulk Lego, look on websites like eBay or Gumtree or any other kind of online marketplace. Scout around for some nice deals and be sure to check in regularly as well. The early bird always gets the worm after all. It's best to really kind of study the images of the items that are for sale. Look out for things that you really specifically want, and also look out for some of those rarer items as well, so that way you can kind of guarantee buying it will be very much worth your while. Prices can of course vary and can sometimes be a little bit too overpriced, but it's not hard to find a good deal. Now, you can, of course, find minifigures and other kind of individual pieces on places like eBay as well, but in my experience, it's way cheaper to just buy that individual stuff on Bricklink. But that said, you can always find a gem every now and then. Do be warned, though, while you're buying stuff, to look out for any kind of fake Lego or Mega Bloks or things like that. Maybe you want that in your collection, but if that's something you want to steer clear of, double check things, and if you're a little bit uncertain about whether or not it's too good to be true or it's not quite legit enough for you, don't buy it. Could be fake. I've never really been stung with fake Lego before, but I've heard that other people have been, so just be careful and do your research. If you're interested in bulk lots, or Lego sets, or Lego parts, really anything Lego, one of the best places to look for that sort of thing would be flea markets, swap meets, garage sales, or car boot sales. These may not always have Lego for sale, but it is worth looking every so often. You never know what you might find. Another great place to look into is charity shops like Goodwill, Salvation Army, Good Sammy's, or any other kind of op shop or secondhand store. Again, there's no guarantee that these places will have Lego in them, but when they do, they are most of the time very, very, very cheap. So it's of course very much worth your while looking into those sorts of places. And be sure to find the fun in doing that too. You may go to 20 different op shops and never find anything, but it's the thrill of the hunt, isn't it? That's the fun part. You of course can just buy Lego sets too and use those pieces to add to your collection, the good old-fashioned way. But it's also always wise to look into clearances and other sales. Most stores tend to have them, but it's just about coming in at the right time and grabbing the good stuff. If you're in America, places like Target and Walmart always seem to have clearance Lego, so check those places out. And one pro tip: it's to ask the employees for the damaged stock. You can get a discount if you don't really care about the boxes being damaged. And depending on the damage, it may not really be that huge of a discount. But heck, every little bit counts, even if it's only 5 or 10%. Not all stores will be selling their damaged stock, but it's worth asking if they do have any for sale. Majority of the time it'll be out the back though, because it doesn't look too nice having that on the shelves, so you will have to ask if you can see it. The worst they can do is say no, but at least you asked. If you live near a Lego store, then the Pick-a-Brick walls are fantastic for getting parts. Filling cups with smaller parts can often be worth your while. The total cost of the smaller parts can sometimes actually be worth more than how much you paid for the cup. Sometimes. And if you really want to get the most out of your Pick-a-Brick cup, then dense pack it. You can do so like this. Really maximizing the space available instead of just kind of pouring in those pieces, that's what it's all about. There's a really cool and really helpful guide online about how to best do this, so I'll have a link in the description for that. So be sure to check that out. Very helpful. Most recently, I've used Facebook groups to buy the parts that I need. There are many online. Just head on over to Facebook and simply search up Lego Group and whatever the name is of where you live, whether that's the specific state you live in or the continent itself, you'll find something. In these groups, people often buy and sell, and most of the time, they're within driving distance, or at least close enough that you'll get your Lego super fast. So it's an easy way to get Lego, and while you're at it, you get to meet people in your area who love Lego just as much as you, so really, it's a win-win. You can also attend LEGO conventions. Most of them have stalls to buy parts or sets or minifigures from, so it's worth heading there to check out the deals. And on the topic of LEGO conventions, they often have prizes for the MOCs that are on display, so if you are lucky enough to win something, you can score a free set. Additionally, you could also enter into LEGO competitions online. Often there are competitions happening on individual AFOL's pages or blogs, and sometimes LEGO themselves have competitions that they run online. Places like BZ Power and Eurobricks almost always have a competition going on, so do a bit of research and see what you can find. And then it's time to build, baby, build. You might even score something awesome as a result. And if you don't, well, you had fun making Lego sets, that's worth it. Also, if you're a part of a Lego lug, then you could trade pieces with your friends, or even go halves on a set with some of your friends as well. Or simply do a parts draft with your mates. If you aren't sure what a lug or a parts draft is, I just mentioned those terms, I do have additional videos going into a bit more detail about what those are. They kind of take up a whole nother video to explain, so it'd be much easier to just watch those videos instead of me having to talk about it for another few minutes. So if you have any questions, check those out. You can easily find those videos in the Behind the Build playlist. But for now, let's move on. This is a great idea to meet up with your Lego mates and split the cost of a Lego set, or just trade pieces together. But maybe your friends no longer play with Lego. Well, you could always just buy their Lego off of them. It's probably just sitting in their basement doing nothing. Just take it off their hands and give them a bit of cash. I'm sure they'll be pretty grateful for it. And heck, you might even get the friends and family price too, you never know. But I know what you're thinking. You may be saying, but Ben, I have no friends or family who have Lego that they no longer want. What do I do? Well, have you actually asked? Maybe it's worth asking your friends and family if they do have any Lego that they want to get rid of. If you've never asked, maybe they do have stuff. Maybe Uncle Joe has a box under the bed that he's just straight up forgotten about. Or maybe Jeff down the road has some sets that he doesn't need anymore and he could really use the cash. Ask people. It never hurts to ask. You never know what you might get. Heck, ask strangers. Ask the dude who lives 3 streets down from you. He might have a whole collection that he no longer needs. You go to his house and he'll be like, just take it, Bill. I don't need it. I'm done with this whole Lego thing. You take it. And you'll be like, you being Bill, of course, you'll be like, well, I'm happy to take it. Of course, sure. Here's some money. He'll be like, no, Bill, no. Don't give me your money. Just take my Lego. And then you get some free Lego. All because you spoke to a stranger. Do it. You never know what you might get. Another awesome thing to try is to head straight to lego.com and buy pieces through the Lego Bricks and Pieces system. It's basically lego.com's version of Bricklink. The pieces are roughly the same cost-wise, but often new pieces are selling for heaps cheaper than Bricklink. So it's worth checking it out for some cheaper alternatives, especially on those fancy cool new pieces that you want to buy in bulk or even just buy 1 or 2 of, because Bricks and Pieces has it for way cheaper. Check it out. Now you may be sitting there saying, yeah, Ben, that's all well and good, but I have no money to spend on Lego. Fair enough. But there are some easy ways of fixing that too. Of course, one option would be to trade, which doesn't involve any money, so you could try that. But if you're set on the money thing, obviously the traditional means of going out and getting a job or saving up your pocket money, sure, of course. But there is an easier thing you could do. You could buy and sell some of your own Lego.
What? What sacrilege?
How could I propose such a thing? Sure, I used to think the same thing, and I agree with you. How dare I say such heresy? But surely you have some old minifigures or parts that you never use. They just sit in a box under your bed or in a drawer somewhere. Well, put them up on Facebook Marketplace or on eBay or on a Facebook group, whatever, and see if someone else wants them more than you do. That way you can sell the stuff that you don't want and instead replace it with the things that you do want and that you will use. Of course, be sure to research their value so you aren't giving away a small fortune. But if you look into it enough, some Bionicle masks and some Lego parts, and man, some minifigures are worth actually a fair bit of money. So if they're sitting in some box and they never get used, well, consider selling them and grabbing some parts that you will use with that money. I've done it. It's worth it. On top of that, another good idea, if you think a set might be worth something in the future, buy it and sit on it a bit for a little bit of an investment. Sure, there is risk involved in doing that, but with risk comes the reward, my man. Something to think about. Don't have to do it, but something to think about. A little bit of a side job. You never know. But that's it for today. Let me know where you get your Lego from. And if you're from another part of the world, please let me know where you get your stuff from specifically. Because I, of course, don't know every single good place to buy Lego around the world. Maybe you live somewhere I didn't mention. Or maybe you go somewhere that I didn't mention. So share those awesome tips and advice below in the comments. Heck, you might learn something great in some cool hotspot that's near you that you never even knew existed from someone else. So share away. Never know what you might learn. Anyway, that's it. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Behind the Build.